What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I'm very excited, like legitimately very, very excited. And the reason is the other day I showed you a Nami leader card, I believe the first Nami leader we'd actually seen. And I've watched a few episodes of One Piece now, I'm kind of loving it, honestly. Crunchyroll have gone and put it back on, it wasn't there a little while ago. They've gone and put it back on, but only Japanese with English subtitles, which I know is more pure. But when I'm working, I really want to have it on in the background, and my Japanese is not good enough. I need it in English, boo, hiss, etc. But I don't have any strong feelings towards Nami either way. She's fine. She's not my favourite character. She's just fine. But the Nami leader they showed us the other day, that is the most interesting leader we've seen so far. And I mean that very sincerely. It is the first time I've seen a leader in this game and gone, hang on a second, that's amazing. Because it's not your regular leader, it's a blue Nami. Interestingly enough, the only blue Nami we've had so far. Up to now, we've had green and red. Now we've got a blue Nami, she's a leader. 5 life, 5,000 power, as we would expect from a monocolor leader. And we've got an additional rule. When your deck reaches 0, you win the match instead of losing it. So generally speaking, when you run out of cards, that is one of the win conditions in the One Piece TCG. You run out of cards, you lose the game. But Nami says if you run out of cards, you win the game. And that basically, the reason I find this so interesting, the reason I'm so obsessed with this card, is because it literally changes the game. It introduces a new win condition, which forces you to play a different way. You're never going to play this Nami leader and try and win the traditional way. Because there are better leaders, there are better blue leaders if you're trying to win the game in the traditional way. Ivankov from OPO2 is proving to be the best blue deck at the moment. It won one of the preliminaries over in Japan. It is proving to be a very, very good deck. If I want to play a good blue deck right now, that is probably the one I'm going to go for. Until somebody proves me wrong, wins a preliminary of another blue deck, etc. That is a phenomenal deck. That is not Nami. Nami is not coming up against Ivankov trying to be a better traditional blue attacking deck and all of that rubbish. Nami is coming in as a self-mill deck. You are trying to run yourself out of cards and then win the game. But the problem we had when we looked at Nami the other day was we didn't have enough cards. Like Nami itself, there is a second skill here. Don X1, when your opponent takes damage to their life through an attack of this leader, you may trash one card from the top of your deck. Well, by the time you've taken out 5 life, you've trashed 5 cards. That's, that's not going to get you winning the game quickly, ladies and gentlemen. That is not going to get you where you need to be. That is not going to win the game in the way you want to win the game. It's a nice bonus. If you're milling yourself in other ways, this is a nice bonus. But this is not going to self-mill to the point you win the game. And we looked at blue cards the other day. And I told you that as it stands at the moment, what we're really trying to do is draw cards. What we're trying to do is draw cards so that we essentially draw our way out. Draw to the point where we've got no cards left in our deck. And I told you there are some options. The Bo Hancock from OPO1, Don X1 when attacking or blocking, because you're also a blocker. Draw a card if there are 5 or fewer cards in your hand. That's fine. That'll work. It's not great, but it's fine. Bo Hancock, the one from OPO2, when attacking, draw a card and trash a card from your hand, then trash up to 3 cards from your hand. Again, it's not phenomenal, but there's a little bit of draw. The Dracula Mihawk from starter deck 3, Don X1, when attacking, draw 2 and trash 2 cards from your hand. So you're cycling through your deck that little bit faster, trying to run yourself out of cards. But I told you the other day, when we talked about Nami, I told you that we didn't have enough. I told you that the cards we've seen so far don't give us this win condition that we're looking for. And that makes me, legitimately sad. But the cards we had the other day basically told us Nami, as it stands at the moment, doesn't work. And I told you that I was now waiting. I was waiting to see what Bandai were going to do, what the One Piece team were going to do to Nami, to try and make it so that either Nami is a viable deck that we can legitimately use, or it's never going to work, and that's fine. Well, wonderful news, ladies and gentlemen, because they've gone and revealed a card which shows that they are going to make Nami a thing. I held off for a few days here. I was really hoping they were going to show another card. They haven't shown us another card yet, so let's just talk about Chef. Chef is exactly what you need for Nami, and I mean, now it looks like a guaranteed no question 4 of, but remember, we've not seen a lot of blue cards from OPO3. I'm assuming there are more, and here's the thing. The fact that we've got 1, I refuse to believe they're only going to do 1. They were either going to support Nami and make it an archetype, or they weren't. And you kind of had to believe they were going to, but we needed that proof. Well, we got that proof, ladies and gentlemen. We can now see, with a high degree of certainty, that yes, they are going to support that archetype. They are going to give more milling cards for Nami. That makes Nami a thing, or means that Nami will be a thing in the future. And I, for one, am absolutely delighted. Now, the translation here I had to go at, but it largely comes from the lovely folks over at onepiece-cardgame.dev. We got a 5-cost, 6,000 power counter plus 1,000, all fairly standard. Don X1, when this character deals damage to your opponent's life, you may trash 7 cards from the top of your deck. Now we're talking. Sorry, Zeph, not Chef. Or Chef Zeph. You know what I mean? Point is, 7 cards on the top of your deck. Now, when I told you about Nami a minute ago, I say you trash 1 card on the top of your deck. I told you that's a nice little handy bonus, but it ain't going to get you that far. Zeph, however, 7 cards on the top of your deck. You start with a 50-card deck. 7 cards is 14%, exactly 14%. Nami is 2%. It's actually really easy, because you've got 50-card decks. You just double however many cards you are trashing, and that is a percentage of your deck. And that's 14% of your deck right off the bat. This is huge. Now, it is when you deal damage to your opponent's life, so your opponent is going to want to block. That is really important. Blocking will become very, very, very big for your opponent, and it's also going to become very big for you. You're going to need to time your attack correctly. You're going to need to take out their blockers, etc. What you cannot do here is let your opponent block Zeph. Because if your opponent blocks Zeph, you're going to lose the game. You are relying on this. And this makes things very interesting. Because you know Zeph can't get blocked, and your opponent knows they have to block Zeph. So it's going to be interesting in terms of deck building. You are going to have to build in a way that can take out blockers. And it's going to be really interesting for your opponent. But now, you draw a few cards, and you take out a couple of blockers, and then you start milling with Zeph. Now Nami can work. And bearing in mind, this is just the first one. I refuse to believe this is going to be the last one. I feel really confident that the lovely folks from the One Piece crew are going to be giving us more cards in the future that can start milling. I was worried they wouldn't support the deck. Now they've shown they will. I think we can assume that it's going to keep happening. There's going to be more support coming down the line, and I am loving it. Because what's next? What other cards are we going to be seeing here? This is already a very good start, but I really do believe there's going to be more in the future. I don't believe it's going to be the last one that we see. Can we work with just Zeph here? I'm skeptical. Now, the way I'm thinking about it is, if I take out, let's say, 4 of their life, realistically 4 of their life, let's say I do that. Well, taking out 4 of their life means I'm milling 28 cards. It's just over half my deck, 56%. Then you add in some draw and some cycling for your deck with cards like Dracula, Mihawk, etc. I don't think this is quite enough. But you got to bear in mind, Nami is take a life, mill 1 card. Zeph is take a life, mill 7. Are you going to get much better than this? I think in terms of taking one of your opponent's life and then trashing cards, I think this is probably as good as it's going to get. I don't think you're going to be a mill 10 card. So what that means is we're going to be looking for more draw. Because again, you've only got 5 life. You take out 5 life and attack, you win or get an attack through. So you can't just be winning by taking out the life. You've got to be taking out the life and milling, but also drawing a bunch of cards and cycling your deck. You need to be doing both of them. So it's going to be things like blocking with Bo Hancock to draw a couple of extra cards. It's going to be things like attacking with Dracula Mihawk knowing that you're going to get blocked, but that's fine. Although, again, there's a chance that they actually end up not blocking because they want to let the attack through so they can focus on blocking someone like Zeph. But it's going to be a combination of milling with stuff like Zeph and drawing cards, which is going to get you there. And there is a second skill here on Zeph. We've not mentioned it. I don't think it's the main thing I'm excited about the card for, but I suppose we should at least mention it. It'd be rude not to. What we've got here is, on play, you may return up to one character of a cost of 3 or less to the owner's hand, and then trash 2 cards from the top of your deck. Now, this could be kind of good to return a character of your own to reuse a play skill, for instance. Or it could be returning one of your opponent's characters, which is probably going to be a blocker. Remember how I've said the whole you can't get blocked? Yeah, if they've got a 3 cost or lower blocker, you got to imagine you're going to play Zeph, get rid of one of their blockers, trash 2 cards on the top of your deck. In terms of self-milling, it's only 2 cards. Let's not get too excited. It's not amazing. But you are still milling a little bit more from yourself, and you're taking out one of your opponent's characters, not, getting rid of them, but certainly taking them off the board. It's not bad, ladies and gentlemen. It's not bad. I'm still not convinced we're quite there yet. But incidentally, I think we've literally only seen Nami and Zeph in terms of blue cards from this set. I think they're literally the only blue cards we've seen. There will be more, ladies and gentlemen, and they could make a big difference. If they do incidentally reveal another blue card before I get to post this video, I'll pop it in here. Otherwise, I want to know what you think about Nami. I want to know what you think about Zeph. I want to know if you think this could work. I want to know what other support you think the deck's going to be getting in Pillars of Strength or Mighty Enemy over in Japan. Let me know in the comment section. Get us. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and card games and all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord and chat with us, all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.